Well, hello everybody. Welcome back to the channel. So I've just walked out of the local movie theater from watching Sonic the Hedgehog. Now, I was actually quite excited to see this movie at first because I do like to watch, I do like to check up on the video game movies. They don't have the greatest track record of being that good. They're starting to kind of crawl out of that a bit more these days. But so upon going to this, I mean, like the first, so I was excited, but I mean, the first half hour of this movie, I thought this was kind of lame. I wasn't really that into it. I mean, it was kind of funny, it was kind of alright, and it had some kicks to it, right? But, I didn't go for it as much as maybe I thought I would have, but, it started to grow on me a little bit after about 45 minute line hit, like about halfway, like just before halfway through the movie. It started to grow on me a little bit, and I started to enjoy the characters more and kind of get to know the world that was being set more. But what I will say though is I didn't understand the approach they took to this movie. Like I thought that it would have been a lot more of like the old school 1990s Sonic the Hedgehog video game, where I thought it would basically portray like some of the same missions that went on in the actual game, but it didn't. It brought Sonic into this modern day world and introduced these people that he got to know around here. And so I didn't really go for that at first, but as I said, as I got to know the characters more, as some more interesting things started to happen, I started to get more into it. And I will say there's one good thing at the beginning. When the Paramount sign starts at the beginning of this movie, there's a little Easter egg there that anybody who played Sonic as a kid or is familiar with the game is going to pick up on right away, and that's top notch. I loved that. That was a really cool idea. But yeah, I mean, other than that, it was a fairly mediocre movie, though. I mean, it wasn't too long. Like, you know, if it were any longer, it would have been a bit harder to sit through, but it was the perfect kind of length. Jim Carrey's performance as the villain guy there, I forget his name, but he was quite inaccurate to the video game, but he brought the charisma in the character with his own personality into the character that he was playing. And you know, I think he did a good job. I mean, it was an odd choice. I mean, sometimes you never quite know. Like sometimes, you know, an actor will look exactly like a character, but they won't be able to act it quite as well. Sometimes an actor will not look a lot like a character, but they will still be able to, you know, put off that vibe that the original, where they're bringing it from the source material, right? So he did a good job, and he was actually a good choice, but he was nonetheless an odd choice, I will say. But past the part, absolutely. I totally agree with, like, if you follow anything about movies, back when this movie was first coming out, they actually took it off the line. They took it off the line and redid Sonic, just the character himself, because there was outrage about how ridiculous the original design for Sonic they had. It was like literally like a CGI guy, blue, with some strange blue hair and a little bit of a face like Sonic, and they cut that out, they took that away, and they made him look almost exactly like the original character that was in the game, which I liked his design in this movie. And you know, it was a good movie. I was so surprised at how much I started to kind of get drawn into these characters. Like, I really didn't go for it at first, but I really got drawn into the characters after a while. And by the way, I am a Sonic the Hedgehog, well, I was a Sonic the Hedgehog player. Like, I had a Sega when I was a kid, and I didn't like a lot of the games that came with it. I mean, some of the games were awesome, but it was kind of hit and miss with that console. Some of the games were pretty good, and some of them were really good, but other ones were fairly mediocre. But whenever I didn't quite know for sure what to think of a game or which one to play, Sonic was just sort of like that go-to, like, yeah, like Sonic's always good, you know what I mean? So with that said, I mean, I don't know, something tells me that the movie only deserves something in the C's, but yet because I started to get more drawn into those characters, I don't know if I'll bring it up to the B's or not, but I still, anywhere in the B's would be too high. I think it would be ridiculous to give this movie something, like, unless you, like, really liked it yourself for your own individual reason of some kind, but just for an overall, you know, gist of what, of what the movie grading would be for somebody who's fairly neutral on the subject. It would seem completely out of place to me to give it anywhere in the B's. So I think I am going to leave the movie with a C+, but that doesn't mean I didn't like the movie. It just means it was just kind of at that fine line in the middle. You know what I mean? That's where I classify this movie. So the game's fucking awesome. The game's A+. But yeah, the movie and video game movies are crawling out of it. They're getting better. They're starting to get better. They're getting into the rhythm a little more here, and this is definitely a step forward for video game movies. So C+ for Sonic the Hedgehog, everybody. Thank you very much for watching my review, and I will see you next time.